Alright, hello! Welcome to my corner of the internet. My name's Alex, and this is Reid. I want to start off on this channel just kind of explaining what I'm doing here, and just a little bit about me before we start jumping into that book content. So, my name is Alex, like I said. I just graduated with my bachelor's in biology. And I am currently working as a wildlife survey tech for this project. And because of that, I am in my college town, which is itty bitty. I am incredibly bored. I started reading again around Christmas, I think a little after. I don't know how I got back into it. I just was like, I just want to read a book. So I went. First book I read, I think, was Beach Read. And that's kind of jump-started my ascent back into this world. So yeah, here we are. Just maybe a little bit about what kind of books I like to read. I'm been really into fantasy lately, and then also like murder mystery or like crime. Those are my two go-to genres as of right now, but I'm really open to reading anything. I also really like young adult. I used to read a lot of young adult back middle school, high school, and I just love how the writing in them, it's just very easy to read, very fun stories. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I like to read. So yeah, this channel is just for me to mess around, talk about books that I'm reading, because I don't really have someone I can do that with that's like easily accessible. So that's what I'm using this channel for. I'm just here to have fun. That's my goal with this. I'm looking for something to do. And yeah, that's it. I figured I'd also share my summer TBR that I have compiled here that I want to read the next couple of months. So I've had monthly TBRs. Like, I've made a couple. But I find a really hard time sticking to that. I'm very much a mood reader. Like, I will pick up what sounds interesting at that time. So what I've done here is, instead of specific books I want to read, there are a couple of specific ones that I'm going to make myself read because I've been putting them off. I have come up with these prompts. Some of them being summer related, some of them not. This is more just things to get off my bookshelf. Sorry about the sniffles. I have allergies, I think. So you'll just have to bear with me. Alright, so let's just get right into it. Alrighty, let's get into my first prompt. My first prompt here is fantasy. So what I've done is, for each prompt, I've picked out 2 books to give myself more options. If I read both, great. If I read one, great. If I read none, also, that's fine. I don't want to force myself to read something I don't want to read, because like I don't want to get into a reading slump. So this is hopefully going to help me with that a little bit. But the first one I have here is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. I have been putting off reading this book. I read the first one in like February and loved it. 5-star read for me. Loved the story, loved the writing. I thought it was great. So I was very excited when I picked this one up because I was like, oh, this is going to be another good one. I'm going to read it. It's going to be a great time. But I've yet to read it. It is June. I've had this since February. So I have no excuse. I went as far as to put a bookmark in. But yeah, so this continues These Violent Delights story, which is about 1920s Shanghai. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but the characters are Roma and Juliet, who are a part of opposing gangs, and you see a supernatural thing happening to the city, and so they kind of team up and try to figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit of romance, a little bit of fantasy. It's pretty light on the fantasy. A lot of this stuff is pretty realistic for the most part, but yeah, there's supernatural things going on. So yeah, really love the first one. Have high hopes for the second one. This is one I will definitely be reading. This is one of the books I said, like that I mentioned, I'll be reading a couple. This one's one of them. So for the second one in this category, I have House of Earth and Blood of the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. I have not read any other Sarah J. Maas books. I have heard good things about this one, so I figured this would be a good spot to start. I don't really know much about this. I know it's like, I think they're solving a murder or a mystery or something. I don't know. I kind of like not knowing a lot about the books I go into because I think it's fun to try to figure out the plot yourself and discover the different pieces as you go on. So you'll notice the theme. I don't really know too much about a lot of these books I have here. So yeah, saw this, some booktubers really like it, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a try. And I know there's a sequel, House of Sky and Breath, so if I really like this one, I can read that one as well. So this is my second fantasy book. Alright, so my second prompt I have here is young adult. Like I said, I love the young adult genre, so I have a couple here. So the first one I have is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I, again, don't know much about this. I think this girl realizes she has some supernatural powers or something like that. But it's about her mother dying, kind of finding herself. I am very much I will pick a book by a cover. I know that, like, you know, might not be fair, but if your book doesn't have a good cover, I'm not going to pick it up. I love this cover. It is beautiful. She's killing it. And that's all I have to say. So I'm very excited to read this one. And then the second one I have here is one from my childhood. I never read it, but it's Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I remember seeing these as a kid, her different Lunar Chronicles ones in the series. I read the Renegade series by her. I loved that series. I need to do a reread of it because I haven't read it recently, but I remember really loving it. I like got myself the box set. But I know this is a Cinderella retelling. Also a little fantasy. A lot of fantasy going on here just to start off. But she's a cyborg trying to navigate life in this, I don't know, new Beijing. Again, love these new covers. These are great. I don't know how long they've been like this, but when I think of this book, I think of the old one with just the like glass slipper. That I think that's why I never read it as a kid, because I didn't love that and it was kind of creepy. So now I'm giving it another try. My friend said it was really good, so here we are. Alright, so this next prompt we have is for Book of the Month. I subscribe to Book of the Month. I pay for it. Obviously not spons. So I'm really bad about reading them, honestly. I've read one of them. I don't remember which one, but anyways. So I have a couple here that I want to read. The first one is Things We Do in the Dark. This is a June thriller pick. This is by Jennifer Hillier. This is about a celebrity. I don't know if she's a celebrity, but her husband's a celebrity. But he's found dead in the bathroom, and she's found with him, I think covered in blood. And she's more worried about the negative press she's going to get rather than going to prison. So then another similar case happens, you know, years later, and she's worried that all this negative press is going to be reminding of her case, and then that all that attention is going to be back on her. So I think that's what the premise of this is about. Again, not quite sure, but very excited to read this one. And then my second one here is Yerba Buena by Nina Lacour. This is the May literary fiction. I think that's a category from Book of the Month. This is about two women, or just a woman, who meets another girl in Los Angeles. And just it's kind of their story, how they meet, their relationship, and just their lives. So definitely picked this one because of the cover. It also sounded interesting when I read it, but this cover is also beautiful, so that's another reason why I picked it. Alright, so the next prompt we have here is memoir and nonfiction. The first one I have here is A Life of the Mind Interrupted. This is by Katie Rose Guest Pryal. This is one I found in a free little library on my college campus, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that'd be interesting to read. This is essays on mental health and disability in higher education. So just educating myself more on the struggles people face and things we can do to help fix it. So that's the first one. The second one I have here is also a nonfiction, so I guess this is technically a nonfiction category, is Rants from the Hill. This is by Michael P. Branch. This is just a little, it says advanced reader's copy. This book has come out. I got this on Thrift Books, so the book's been out since 2017. This is just one I got. But this is just he's just writing about things he's seen in the desert, a bunch of different animals, natural history, all that kind of things. I'm a biologist. I like reading about this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure, but I'm really excited to read this one. I've had this one for a while now, probably close to a year now, and I'm due to read, so this one's for that one. All right, so the next prompt I have here is Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's all I need to say. So the first book I have is Daisy Jones and the Six. This one's about a 1970s band that, I don't know if they've had a falling out or what, but this is just kind of it's like written in interviews that they're just telling their story of their time in the 1970s. This is Daisy, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one. And then the next one I have from her is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This one's just about Evelyn Hugo, who is now in her 80s or however old, but she's finally having her tell-all of her career as a Hollywood starlet, I guess. But yeah, so here's my thing with Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have heard such hype and good thing about these books that I've been putting off reading them despite hearing these great things and probably going to enjoy them, because I don't want to never be able to have that first reaction read ever again. Like, you're fresh, you've never read this book before, you don't know what happens in it, you just never have that experience again, and I'm putting off that, because like once I read this, it's like I'll never read it for the first time again, which is a horrible reason to not have read this by now. So that's why I'm finally putting on my big girl pants and I'm reading them. I been trying to look on the internet to see if there's like a certain order, not a certain order, but like a recommended order to read them, like that the story is like makes sense, because I know characters in this little universe kind of cross over if there's like a recommended way. So I think I'm gonna start with Daisy Jones and the Six, and then The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. All right, the next prompt I have here, these next couple are actual like summer themed. This first one I have here is books with summer in the title. So I went through my selection and picked two. So the first one I have here is Prodigal Summer. It's by Barbara Kingsolver, and that's all I know, honestly. I mean, I can look at the back real quick, but it's just about humans, nature, and all that fun stuff. Yep, I think humans connecting with nature in solving their problems. I think that's what this mainly is about. I got this at the Goodwill outlet. I love this color. I love this shade of green. So again, cover-based pick. But I saw it had pretty good ratings on Goodreads, so I figured I'd give it a try. I mean, the book was like 25 cents max. So here's this first one for summer. And then the second one I have here is Last Summer at the Golden Hotel by Alyssa Friedland? I'm not sure. But this one's about these two families who vacation at the Catskills, who I think have been feuding for years. And so I think they have to like save the Catskills or something. But I, again, don't really know much. But I found this at Half Price Books. I kind of read the back a little bit and I saw the Catskills. I was like, ooh, yes, pick up. Because I watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I haven't finished, but, from where I last left off, they were at the Catskills. And those episodes were the best episodes. And I was like, ooh, rich people drama? Yes, please. I will pick that up. So I have high hopes for this one. So yeah, this is Last Summer at the Golden Hotel. So that's my second summer book. My next prompt is books with water on the cover. That felt pretty summery to me. So the first one I have here is Beautiful Ruins by Jess Walter. I think it takes place in Italy, at least part of it. That's all I can tell you. I've had this one for a bit. Another cover pick. I mean, it's beautiful. So, yeah. That's it. That's all I can say. And then for the second one I have is the third book by Taylor Jenkins Reid from this, universe. It's Malibu Rising, which is about these 4 siblings, I think. Yeah, 4 famous siblings that throw this party, and at this party things become uncovered. And then you see like just the progress of the night and things that are being found out. It's about like, you know, your sibling relationships. This isn't much of a, more of a romance. This is your like family dynamics one. So I think I'm gonna read this one last. I know there's a character that is from Seven Husbands of Evelyn, Hugo. It's one of her husbands. I think is like the dad or something. But I feel like this one is fine to read last. This is my second water on the cover book. So then now this last category I had to throw in just so yeah, that's it. I just had to throw it in here. Books I want to read just because I want to read them. Simple as that. So the first one I have here is The Secret Life of Bees. I know this takes place in the 60s. It's by Sue Monk Kidd, forgot to mention. Yeah. It's about, divine female power. Women will share and pass on their daughters for you to come. We love a female empowerment story. So this is what I want to read. This also feels kind of summery to me, which is why I put this on the list. But yeah, again, love the cover. Very cute. So I'm excited to see what this one's about. And then the second one I have here is it's My Best Friend's Exorcism by Hendrix. I do know that it's about giving your best friend an exorcism. I know that. About these girls that went swimming in a lake and then weird things started happening to one of them, and then the other girl's like, we gotta do something about that. But again, heard great things about it from other YouTube channels, so I wanted to give it a try. But also, again, there's a theme here. This cover is amazing. It's a VCR tape, like your VHS, like the whole thing. It's wonderful. So yeah, that's all the books I am wanting to read. I mean, this isn't like, this is an exclusive. I'm literally reading another book that's not on this list right now. So we're already off to a good start. It's the middle of June. Thank you all for watching. If you somehow found this, if you somehow made it this far, yeah, I'm just here to hang out, have a good time. That's it. That's really it. I want to read and I want to talk about it. I love to talk. So, yes. That's all I have for now. I don't know what this channel is going to look like. I don't know how often or what kind of uploads I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing book content. I watch a lot of booktube, so I kind of see what I like to watch, and I'm like, oh, maybe other people like to watch this, or like, you know what, this is just for me, you know? That's it. See y'all later. Bye!